Okay. Well, guys, welcome to the workshop today.
Thank you.
Sorry about the mixed messages about getting in here. I was just realizing last night that I didn't quite know how to get in myself, so spent a long time confirming and getting this. We changed locations a few times. Anyway, basically today we're going to be learning about blockchain. Specifically, we're going to use the EOSIO tech stack to see how blockchains work, and I mean that's because I'm very passionate and I think it's very good technology in this space. It's certainly leading the innovation. What I'd like to do first is go around and get everybody to a small round of kind of where they're coming from, why they're here, and what kind of experience they might have today. You want to start?
Sure.
So we're just going to go straight into all this. So this particular tech has a bit of history. I mean, it all started with Bitcoin, obviously. But in our particular case, this tech stack was developed by Block One, a company. And the history behind it is, if you're in the scene, you know this, is this guy, Daniel Larimer. He started 3 different blockchain companies, starting with graphene. And then him and Brendan, apparently in a pub tavern, decided on building this software, EOSIO, which was a general purpose smart contract platform, through this company, Block One. And now they're going on to build a new platform, Voice, a social media platform on a blockchain on top of an EOSIO chain. That's what they're building right now. So they're now in charge of both of those projects. So EOSIO, it's not a blockchain. This is quite a big confusion in the space. EOSIO is a software that allows you to deploy highly customizable blockchains. So it's just a software, it's open source, and on these blockchains you can run smart contract programs, and it's very highly performant, it's very developer friendly, it's very user experience friendly, very powerful software. So this is generally what a blockchain application looks like. Is you have a front end or some kind of client can interact directly with a program on the blockchain called a smart contract through some kind of library software, an SDK, which is provided, and that interacts with the blockchain in whatever format that is, and that depends on how it's configured, and there's lots of different ways you can configure that blockchain. So these smart contracts, these are programs that live on the blockchain. So they're quite similar in a way that you can think of regular programs. They have a bunch of functions that they expose that can be externally called, and they update member variables. In this case, that's called the EOSIO database, the persistent storage of a program. What's cool about the EOSIO software is it provides this database in an extremely secure way, cryptographically secure, and then a cryptographically secure transaction ledger, a history of all of the operations that have updated the database. And what's quite different about EOSIO compared to Bitcoin, compared to Ethereum, is that smart contracts themselves define the contract. They're used to configure the chain itself. And that's called on-chain governance. And they define the consensus. So we're going to see a bit more about that as well.
So the EOS blockchain is just a combination of smart contracts?
So,
if I understand.
So EOS, we're going to get to in a sec, is one of the blockchains deployed using EOSIO software.
Yeah. Okay. So
yep.
There's a difference between EOSIO and...
Absolutely. EOSIO is the open source software protocol.
Yeah.
EOS is one of the many blockchains deployed using it. So like I said, these smart contracts are like programs. They behave like an object. They have member variables, and they store persistent data for the program, and that's in something called the EOSIO database, as it's labeled by the makers. And then member functions which expose custom rules that allow you to update that database. So the big difference between this EOSIO software and a regular database is that it allows the administration of the database, the administration of those programs to be decentralized. In all previous database systems, previous to Bitcoin, every database had to have one central administrator, one technical administrator that had full governance over all of the data. There was no technical way around this. So what blockchains allowed us to do was to have a database that was not run by one entity. And you can configure out who runs it now in a way that's not technically centralized. And that's what this blockchain data structure that we're going to learn about allows you to do. So what's additionally cool about blockchains is that they synchronize across the entire network in a way that's cryptographically secure. So everybody has cryptographic guarantees that they see the same data that everybody else sees. They can be configured, and this depends on how you deploy your chain, in a way that anybody can participate in consensus. And that anybody can audit the blockchain and check that the rules are being followed. And when I say audit, I mean cryptographically audit, like get mathematical proof that they are following the rules. Chris, question?
Yeah, which consensus mechanism?
We're going to get to consensus in part 4. Yes. There's a 2-part consensus, but the main default consensus provided by the software is delegated proof of stake. So like I said, EOSIO is a blockchain framework to deploy blockchains. And it's been used now to build and deploy over 11 public chains that are currently running in production. And they have different configurations. Some are centralized, some are decentralized. Some of them are permission chains, so not everybody's allowed to participate in consensus. And then some of them have different consensus mechanisms, and that's defined through smart contracts on chain. And there are also many people using this for private blockchains. I don't have numbers because this is all done behind closed doors, but I have it on good authority that this has happened. So you've probably heard of EOS. EOS was the first blockchain deployed. It was deployed the day after the big token sale, which raised $4 billion, the biggest public token sale in cryptocurrency to date. But yeah, you can see many more here. And this list does keep growing. I'll give you some resources at the end. You can see all these different ones. And if you don't like any of them, deploy your own. It's not that hard.
So today we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra!
Yeah. Yes. So the EOS ecosystem has quite a few big players on there. You've got Loom Network connects to it, a few others. We're not sure yet whether Voice is going to connect to the EOS blockchain, but there's hints that it will. And if you want like a full picture of the ecosystem, you're welcome to go here. It has a big list of projects. And this is the EOS ecosystem, not the EOSIO ecosystem. There are many of these cross between them.